here. My name is John Farrar. I'm the CEO of Nimble, and I'm super excited to be here with you today because Nimble is all about partnering. And it starts with partnering with the trusted advisor of our customer. And that's you, the partners in the trenches in the field who are facilitating the transformation of the customers around us today. And to help make that happen, we've got Kevin Turner, the head of our Nimble partner program. And we're here only because of the good graces of D&H and Ryan Flynn, who put this webinar together to help us to share the story about how we can transform your business and therefore enable you and empower you to start transforming your customer's business. So one question is, why Nimble? So ultimately, I think that relationships are critical to business success and that the contact tools that we use today are kind of broken in that email, contact, and calendar aren't unified in Office 365 or really any of the other platforms that people use. And when you sell Office, it's really the operating system of the business. It's the first layer that goes in. In the old days, you used to sell somebody a domain and then IMAP or POP. And then as Exchange and Outlook grew, you started selling that. But today, really, if you want to be a business today, you start with Office. That's the foundation. But on top of that, every company needs a relationship manager. And I'm not just talking about CRM. I'm talking about a relationship manager for the whole company, because it's not just salespeople that talk to prospects and customers that help you grow your business. And that today, most people are managing their contacts in email or spreadsheets. And what we're looking to do is to provide you with a simple layer on Office so you could start selling solutions on top of Office, which helps you to be prepared to sell other solutions like Azure and Dynamics in the future. What this does is it helps you to increase profits and stickiness with customers, and it gives you the opportunity of a new way to engage with your customers. So rather than selling IT infrastructure to IT decision makers, what I call plumbing to plumbers, you can start selling solutions on top, which opens a whole gateway of products and services that you could sell in the future. And what I love to say is Nimble is the simple CRM for Office and gateway to Dynamics and Azure. So what I want to do today is to introduce, what Nimble is and how it's different in the marketplace, how it helps you to grow customers and start selling them other solutions, to share with you that we are a strategic partner with Microsoft and what that means, and talk about this bundling opportunity and how you can make money selling it. So as I shared with you before, relationships are critical to your success, and relationships isn't just a business card. It's not a LinkedIn connection. It's people that you've earned intimacy and trust. You've set yourself up as a trusted advisor. So when they need your products and services, they not only pick up the phone and call you, but they drag their friends with them. How do you do that in today's overconnected, overcommunicated world? Well, most of us struggle with relationships. There's a thing called the Dunbar limit. You can only manage 100 or 200 people in your head at one time. And most of us have thousands of connections, and it's just going to get worse. And how do we manage them? We manage them in email, in spreadsheets, in social, or in some type of contact platform, or even a CRM. And CRMs aren't really about relationships. They're really about reporting. I like to joke, but it's true. The reason they call it Salesforce, you have to force salespeople to use it. Nobody in their right mind would use a CRM if they weren't beat on to do it. And that's because you work for this CRM. It doesn't work for you. And you have to go to it to use it. And I know a thing or two about CRM and contact management because back before I founded Nimble, I founded a company called Goldmine, which was Outlook and Salesforce combined before either existed. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So if you think about the sales and marketing technology tech stack that you need to implement in order to be successful in today's market, you need more than a contact database or a CRM. You need sales intelligence, so you need to know who somebody is and what their business is about before you ever engage. And then you need tools to engage effectively. And God forbid you're using MailChimp or Marketo to email customers to do one-to-one communications. You should be using your own email and social. But in order to do all the things I just said, you've got to buy 3 to 5 to 6 different tools, get them to work together, and teach the salespeople how to use it. It just doesn't work. And so much of your time selling is wasted Googling people and logging what you know and what you did. And that's why we built Nimble. Nimble is a simple, smart CRM that helps transition people from what they're using today. And most of the world, believe it or not, is still using spreadsheets and sticky notes and in email into a unified platform. I call it the first CRM that works for you by building itself. And it builds itself from the data you already have in your business. Every business has contacts, and those contacts are distributed amongst a million different places. Every team member in an Office 365 environment has a separate contact database. Those contacts aren't linked to email or calendar, and they're not linked to who that person is and what their business is about. And it's not linked to the contacts in the sales, marketing, customer service, accounting, applications, nor social. And that's what Nimble does. It automatically builds itself from the distributed contacts. We synchronize with over 140 SaaS business apps. So even if they have an existing social sales or marketing system like Dynamics or Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever, Nimble will integrate and add value to that as an engagement enablement package. Or if they don't have a CRM, it's a great place to start. And one of the things I love is the fact that we can integrate QuickBooks contacts with MailChimp contacts and Office contacts into a simple, smart database for the whole company. And all of that becomes a gateway to Dynamics and Azure and Power BI and Flow, because Nimble is Azure-based. Nimble will soon have integrations built in for Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, Common Data Services. And in the near future, we'll be able to hit a button in Nimble and you can automatically upgrade them into a Dynamics instance, which will have all the magic of Nimble built in, and you make margin on all of that. And that basically means that for every Nimble dollar you sell, you could look forward to making $10 on other products and services. And that basically makes Nimble a Trojan horse and what I call potentially a gold mine for you. And so Nimble is the simple CRM for Office. We're the CRM that works for you everywhere you work. One of the things I love about our platform is it's recognized as a market leader in our category. When you put names in Nimble, we automatically enrich the contacts with people and company data, so you don't have to Google people anymore. You can Nimble them. And then we work back inside of the applications you use, including Office and Dynamics. And I think it's one of the reasons why Nimble has been rated #1 across so many different categories, not just in CRM, but also sales intelligence and sales enablement, email tracking. And so this is one of the reasons why Microsoft has signed a reseller agreement with Nimble. Microsoft is actually our reseller. They sell Nimble to the distributors like D&H, and we're part of their universal product catalog. We're a pioneer in that marketplace with them. And that makes it really easy for us to then work with the distributors and the corresponding resellers, and why we become so strategic to Microsoft. In fact, the press has recognized the Nimble plus Microsoft partnership as one of the most important tech partnerships of the year. And so with all that, let me go ahead and jump into a demo. And before I get into my demo, what I'd like to do is invite questions. So we've got our team listening in the background, and they're going to be logging questions that you have. And so make sure you do ask those questions, because the more questions that are asked, the more we all learn. So let's take a look at how we work today. Today, relationships are built on the contacts you're connecting to, the conversations you're having in email and social, and then the activities that are driven from those conversations. The problem is if you go to the contact database and I go and look at this guy, Aaron Burkhardt. Who is Aaron? What is his business about? When was the last time my team and I ever spoke to him? None of that is there. I call that context and insights. Context is a history of interactions my team has had on email, calendar, and social. Insights is who is this person and what is their business about. So to get insights, I have to Google them and go look up their information. And inevitably, when you Google somebody, you go to their LinkedIn profile. And I call this my resume. It's like walking into my lobby. You're going to learn about my business persona. But if you really want to know who John Ferrara is, go look at the softer side of my persona, because that's how people connect on what I call the 5 F's of life: family, friends, food, fun, and fellowship. And if you look at my background, you're going to see things that we relate to. along those commonalities. And when you share those things with another human being, you immediately build intimacy and trust. And this is what's missing from today's contact tools or even today's CRMs, because basically they're just dead databases that you have to go type all the stuff in, and nobody does that. And that's why CRMs fail, because you work for them, they don't work for you, and you have to go to them to use them. And that's why we built Nimble, the simple, smart CRM that automagically works for you by building itself. And the way that we do that is you OAuth Nimble into all the disparate places that you have contacts. And we work with over 140 SaaS business apps, including Office 365, Gmail, G Suite, iCloud, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and other business apps as well. And then what we do is we map the identity of that person and bring the data down and keep it up to date. So Nimble's always up to date with who that person is. And then we basically give you a digital dossier of who they are, where they're from, where they work, who their significant other is, as well as data that you can use for segmentation for digital outreach, as well as every interaction that you and the team have had on email, calendar, and social. And then we work back where you work. So when you go into Office, if you go into add-ins and you plug in add-ins into Office 365, Outlook Desktop, or Outlook Mobile, you'll get a button inside of your application, and that's where Nimble lives, right where you engage and communicate. What we provide is the history of interactions that you and the team have had on email, calendar, and social, the background of that person, as well as the digital dossier. So you have everything that you need to understand who this person is, what their business is about, the history of interactions that you and the team have had, but most importantly, the ability to follow up and follow through, because that's where we all fail, is the basics. The basics wins games, and we don't do what we say we're going to do because we have to go to our contact tools or our CRMs to do it, and Nimble essentially lives right inside your inbox to be able to do all of that. But we also live everywhere else you work. So Nimble, when you plug it into Office 365, we end up inside the calendar. And we also have an instance that will work inside the contact record. And so essentially, wherever you are, you could bring up the contact that you have to be able to get the context and insights you need to engage intelligently. We do that not just inside of Office 365, but all of the other business apps that you use as well. And so Nimble can be used inside of Dynamics instances as well, because Nimble will bidirectionally synchronize with Office contacts and Dynamics contacts and bring your Office contacts into Dynamics, your Dynamics contacts into Office, and the combined contacts into everywhere you're working. So if you're working on prospecting a customer, all you need to do is hover on part of that person's identity, and Nimble will either bring up the record or build a record for that person automatically. In addition, if you give Nimble the first name, last name, company, domain name, Nimble will give you all the pertinent details that you need, including their email, their mobile phone number, their address, and enrich that contact with all that information. And when you put a contact in Nimble, it'll end up back in Office, it'll end up back in Dynamics, or end up back in whatever business applications that you happen to be using in your company. And then this Nimble Everywhere functionality literally works anywhere as you're working. So if I'm sitting here having a conversation with somebody like Travis King, Nimble will enable me to go ahead and either bring up that record or build a record on that person automatically, where we build that in seconds. And it even works on a generic page like a Forbes article. So have you ever been reading an article and you want to be able to contact the writer, or they're writing about a local business person in your area and you want to be able to build a record for that person, and you want to get their contact info because you want to reach out based off some announcement that they're doing? Nimble gives you the ability to prospect smarter everywhere you're working. And so Nimble works inside of social. It works inside of other business apps. So if I'm sitting here inside of a CRM, Nimble knows what I'm in and will automatically build a record and enrich that record into the database of what I'm using. And it will also work inside of things like Gmail, G Suite. Because if you're a reseller, you're selling to people with existing technology, and what you're able to do is to sell to them with that existing technology. And ultimately, based off of all our benefits that we build into the platform, you can see how the customer might eventually upgrade to an Office instance to be able to get access to all the beautiful functionality that we provide, including the common data services, Power BI Flow, Power Apps, and Azure functionality that we'll be introducing in the near term. So getting back to the Nimble platform, all I've showed you so far is the contact database, but let's take a look at a little bit more of the application. So there's a thing called the Today page that gives you a complete view of your day. It ties together all your important business signals, email, contact, calendar, social, and then gives you a view of all the things that you need to do for that day, including your pipeline, including email tracking, so you could see that this person opened up this email. So when you send a templated email, it's trackable within Nimble. And then we have the contact records that you can go ahead and, like I said before, segment these contacts to do digital outreaches. And this is essentially how I prepared for my last previous visit to WPC 16, now called Inspire. What I did is I imported a Twitter list of influencers from the previous year, 3,500 of them. I used Nimble to segment off of their areas of interest and influence to send a message to 200. That message was opened by 50% of the people. And I don't know if you know anything about marketing automation open rates, but typically you might get 1 to 5, maybe 10 if you're lucky. But if you segment people based off areas of commonality, send a one-to-one message, Nimble gives you the ability to outreach at scale. And so Nimble has the ability to segment these contacts. We unify all of your social signals. So if somebody's talking about you, the team of the brand, Nimble will automatically log those interactions and help you build records to reel in relationships from conversations. And then Nimble has the ability to have all of your inbox in a single place. Like I said, send the group messages, maintain all of your activities, tasks, etc. Turn conversations into pipelines and reports, and essentially be everything you need as a simple CRM for Office. But as I said before, it also is a gateway to Dynamics. And when you do end up using Dynamics, we become a sales enablement relationship platform for not just salespeople, but Nimble provides a common database for the whole company, so that rather than having a CRM for salespeople, customer service for the customer service people, and all these applications are disparate applications, Nimble becomes that unified whole that then works back in the places that you work. This is our customer success application called Intercom, and Nimble is smart inside Intercom. So essentially we unify disparate departments into one singular whole. And with that, that is a brief overview of Nimble. And I think it's one of the key reasons why we've been able to build deep integrations with Microsoft products, not just with Office, Outlook Mobile, Outlook Desktop, Dynamics, Azure, Edge, Skype, and Teams, but also with the people responsible for the programs that it enabled us to become one of their key strategic partners. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and turn this over to Kevin Turner to talk about our value proposition for partners.
John, thanks so much for that wonderful presentation. We do have a lot of information that we're sharing, and one of the things that I want to assure the resellers of is that we have a plan for getting this information out to you, providing some additional detail and making it easier for you to learn at your own pace. But what I want to talk about today is, why is Nimble a valuable addition to your offerings as a partner? Because it is an extremely valuable opportunity that we're excited that you're going to be taking advantage of. One of the approaches that we take to working with our resellers is to bring them into our value proposition by providing them with the ability to use Nimble themselves. So as part of our presentation, we're going to provide you with a link that will allow you to sign up for a free Nimble account that you could use at your own company to modernize your sales and marketing efforts. More than that, we're also going to provide you with onboarding support to help you get up and running, as well as pre-packaged marketing programs to start promoting Nimble to your prospects and customers through the Nimble solution. But in addition to helping you to improve your business, which will also give you insights into the use cases for Nimble, which will help you to communicate that to your customers and prospects, Nimble offers a lot of other benefits to your business. It'll help you to attract other companies or customers and prospects that are looking to improve their sales and marketing efforts. And honestly, every company is looking to improve their sales and marketing. It also extends the value of Office 365, and it provides a real differentiator between your company and other resellers that might be selling Office 365. Because in addition to bringing them a online cloud-based version of what they're currently using, which is email and spreadsheets and contacts, etc., what you're also doing is unlocking the value of all those relationships that are in those tools by centralizing them in a tool that allows them to manage relationships, do outreach, get social insights, and generally help to drive business more quickly. In the process of bringing Nimble to your customers, what you'll be doing is you'll be adding to your revenue per user and your monthly reoccurring revenues. In addition to that, Nimble provides wonderful services opportunities as part of implementation. Many of our resellers begin by selling licenses initially, and then as they start getting requests for services, they start to provide services. But we have other resellers that are very business solution focused, and the service revenue part of the Nimble opportunity is a very, very significant option or way that they could go about adding to the revenue stream. It's really important for us that you do understand that we are channel first. So we're structured to support you to be successful in reselling Nimble and bringing it to your customers. Nimble does provide a really quick time to cash. It's an easy solution to sell. And Nimble's going places. So John spoke a little bit about the relationships that we have with Microsoft. Matter of fact, we're doing a webinar series with Microsoft next week on the 22nd, and then again in February and March. So we're going to market together. There's going to be a lot of buzz, and there is already a lot of buzz around Nimble, and you can benefit from that too. So John, if you'll take us to the next slide. So I did mention that we're going to be gifting you a version of Nimble. It's a full account. It will allow you to bring in your contacts. It will allow you to use it as the central CRM for your company. It will allow you to bring in all your social relationships and to be able to see the social profiles of people and what they're posting, which helps to accelerate sales cycles. So we'll be distributing this link. You don't have to rush to write it down, although if you want to take a screenshot, you could do that too. When you sign up for the free account, what will happen is that you'll be able to log right in, and you'll be able to start using it right away. John, if you'll go ahead and move me to the next slide. So part of the relationship that we have with our customers and with our partners is to help them be successful. And that includes giving them the resources that they need to get started quickly. These resources are available to you as well. For example, we have a flyer, a one-page document, which tells them everything they need to get started. But even without that, inside the application, we have built-in tutorials that provide guidance on using the different modules that John walked us through. What we also have is inside the application, the ability to get to our customer support resources. We call them our success team, and we have a tremendous success team. They provide support via one-on-one phone consultation. And when you take that free account, we want you to sign up for a one-on-one getting started consultation with our support team. They also provide email support. We also have a fantastic knowledge base. It's our support page where you could type in any questions that you have and get support articles and access to videos and whatnot. We also have a very active YouTube channel with playlists to help people get started. We also have a daily Q&A webinar that takes place where anyone can attend, ask questions, learn from others as well. So many different channels to get through support through Nimble. One of the key features of Nimble is that we have a Today page, and the Today page gives you an overview of all the activities that you have scheduled, and it lets you prioritize how you're going to use your time. But one of the modules that we have on that page is our onboarding checklist. So it's another way that we make it easy for you and our customers to get started using Nimble. The bottom line is that when you bring Nimble to your customers, you could be confident they're going to be successful and that they're going to have a great experience using Nimble. On the next slide, what I've done is just to give you a little bit of a perspective of the type of service revenues that you could package into a Nimble implementation. It doesn't have to be expensive, and if you're doing larger implementations, it can be quite sizable. It can be quite profitable. What we've laid out here is a go-to-market strategy of putting together packaged quick start programs. Basically, it would be a set of services that you would provide for a fixed fee. This is oftentimes a great way to start because for your customer, it eliminates their risk. They know what they're going to pay. They know what they're going to get. For you as an implementer, it allows you to have control over what's being provided and to be able to continually to increase your margin. The first time you implement a package, it might take you the number of hours that you projected. But what we hear from our partners again and again is that as they implement again and again, they're able to do it more efficiently and the margins grow and grow. So this is just one of the approaches. Managed services is also another way that our partners bring Nimble to their customers. And we would certainly welcome the opportunity to talk with you about your go-to-market strategies. The intention here was just to give you an orientation to the service opportunities that Nimble does present. So we've covered a lot of information today. What I'd like to do is let's transition into action items and next steps. So what we'd like you to do, and what D&H has helped us to make available to you, is to provide you with that free account. So as a result of today's webinar, what we'd like you to do is go ahead, sign up for that free account, and start using it for your sales and marketing efforts. Become more familiar with the features of Nimbles. Understand the use cases as they would relate to how this would benefit your customers. As part of getting set up in this free account, what we'd like you to do is to click on the link and to set up a one-on-one session with one of our success managers. They'll answer any questions that you have. If you want to get a demo, they'll help you through that as well. And generally, they'll just make the process easy. The next step would be start promoting Nimble to your customers. As 2019 is kicking off, many of you are having kickoff meetings with your customers, 2019 planning sessions. Ask them about how they manage relationships. Ask them if they'd like to unlock the relationships that they have in their SaaS-based business applications, in their spreadsheets, in their Post-it notes and business cards and emails and etc. Ask them how they manage pipeline and get that conversation started. And ask them if they'd be interested in learning about a tremendous solution that's rated #1 for small and medium-sized businesses to help them accelerate their growth and accelerate their sales. When you sign up for the free account, you will be on a email sequence that will give you both training on Nimble, but it will also give you all sorts of resources that you could use to sell Nimble. And that would include our product sheets. It will also include drip email campaigns and other resources as well. These are also available through the D&H website, but we encourage you to leverage these resources to start promoting and start marketing and to start building pipeline. And then work with us. We do understand that it's a little uncomfortable to demo an application that you're just beginning to use, so we're there for you. We'll do demos with you. We'll help you with sales calls and on service engagements. If you're going to be selling services, we'll help you to scope implementations. And then on an ongoing basis, let's maintain a dialogue, whether it's with our success managers or with us in the partner organization, so that we could help you to grow your Nimble practice and to be successful and help your customers to be successful. So John, I'm going to turn it back to you for the last slide and to wrap it up.
Okay, so thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate how you put together such a fantastic partner program to enable our partners to grow with us. And I'd like to talk about that for just a second. I really believe that if you were to go look at a lot of Microsoft partners, and I'm just going to pick on one in particular just because their URL is easy. This is a top 10 Microsoft partner out of, I think, the Rochester area. But what you'll notice if you look at the solutions that they sell backup, security, and infrastructure. They don't really sell solutions on top. And I think that we're missing out on opportunities with customers to help them grow, because I think that today, if you're a business, you need to digitally transform into a modern workplace, which means you need tools to internally communicate and collaborate, externally listen and engage, and tie all that back to the contacts that you're connecting to. And I think that Nimble is a really simple start to do that for any business today. And it's your foot in the door, it's your Trojan horse. But to that effectively, to sell Nimble to a customer effectively, it really makes sense for you to start using it yourselves because people sell what they know and they know what they use. And we're here to help you digitally transform into resellers. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story about how I started a company on $5,000, never took a dime of venture or bank loans, and grew it into the #1 Microsoft ISV with over $100 million in revenue, tens of millions of customers. And I'm going to tell you a simple way that we were able to grow out of the apartment in Canoga Park. There's my co-founder, and to be able to scale that company into a global powerhouse. It was partners. It was people like you. And when we started back in the day, there was no Microsoft NT Server. Novell was the operating system that was out there for SMBs. And we started with Novell resellers. And eventually, when Microsoft came out with NT Server, SQL Server, and Exchange Server, Goldmine Enterprise required a seat of each of those in order to sell Goldmine, which gave our partners, the Microsoft partners, $10 in every Goldmine dollar. Well, history is repeating itself, and today with Nimble, we essentially built a layer on top of Office, but ultimately, with the integrations with Power BI, Flow, Power Apps, Common Data Services, we become a gateway to Azure and Dynamics. And if you could imagine, rather than just selling Office to customers, you start selling them business solutions like Nimble that tie together their existing business solutions and then grow them into consumers of Azure and Dynamics, what that will do for your business. And that's what we want to do. We want to teach you how to do that. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. Please reach out to us and connect with us. Tell us a little bit more about your business. We want to know how we can help you grow. I'm easy to find. Just Google me or ideally Nimble me, Jon Ferrara. My email is jon@nimble.com. Connect with me on whatever channel is comfortable with you. And make sure you sign up for your free Nimble account at www.nimble.com. Offers DH resellers.